Okay, happy holidays, everyone. This here is my Christmas tree that I made last year, and I'm going to make another one today and probably a little bit in tomorrow because it's already gotten late. But I'm going to tweak some things because as everything I ever make, it was like, yeah, it's great, but what if I did this instead? So now we're going to go back and do all the what ifs. I would take it apart and show you how it all flat packs and assembles, but it's already wrapped in lights and they're a pain in the ass to put back on, so you'll just have to imagine it, or we'll wait for later when we have the other one and we can assemble that one in a nice fun little time lapse. So now we're going to take a closer look at all the things that I would like to change. First thing, wrapping it in lights, it looks great. I went with a nice, like a very triangle shape. Each of these, the base is the same as the height, which made a lot of the math easy, deciding with where stuff went and where it lined up in the vectors. But on the bottom here, once you get lights wrapped to about here, they just kind of sag off. So this is about as low as I can get a light to wrap. So the bottom of the tree ends up kind of barren. So fix on this is I'm going to cut some notches at semi-regular intervals along each of the triangles. It'll make it look a little more like a pine tree and less like a just picture of a pine tree. And it'll give us points to hang lights and ornaments. I think generally, though, the ornaments are going to continue to hang off the lights. Number two, this whole area in here above the dog is pretty empty because there's not much. There's nothing there. It's just big flat plain. So I'm going to have some pieces that are going to slot in as some extra branches that'll help kind of round out the tree. And number three is it's just plywood, which was part of the idea. And but I would like it a little more if it were colored. So we're going to put some kind of stain on it. I'm thinking like an alcohol-based colored stain, so it still looks like plywood, but it'll actually have some color instead of being just a big beige mass. So we're going to go to the computer. I'm going to be playing around in some Illustrator for the flat vectors and some SketchUp to make sure everything interacts properly, and then take those numbers over into the CNC computer and do some milling on that. So probably a time lapse here or something. Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, so now that the fire is out, I'll get to that in a minute. This next path I'm kind of doing a first path that's you see removed here is the primary cut path that's making all of our pieces that are actually the tree. And then the last one for each section is cutting out a 40 foot, that's huge, a 40-inch square with some little handles on it. That'll be the frames that hold all the pieces so they flat pack nicely in your closet. The intermediate step is these little guys right here. You seeing that? This is where one of the slots is. I want to get rid of these little horns so you don't have a little splintery bit grabbing you while you're trying to unpack this. So I've got another set of cut paths that's just going to come in and trim these off. Likewise with all this nasty hairy stuff down here. That's all going to get removed. So you have a nice triangle, keeping these guys in here because I like them. So yes, onto the fire. I have a theory about that, and that is proper dust collection. Our filter bag got kind of full. So you see the tail end after the fire, it went and did that, and the vacuum got everything. Can you see that? Should I stop talking now? Notice this one here, there's no dust in it. It just kind of got removed and got sucked into the system. And then down here, just swing it back over here, it's a mess. Because we let our filter bag get full and it wasn't doing proper dust collection. So all of these little guys are kind of sitting here. A lot of heat on the friction of the bit coming through. Throws the spark up. Some catch there. Some more catch there. And then I'm not going to make Mark try to swing the camera, but we had a good fire inside our PVC pipe. That was fun stuff. So shop safety, dust collection. That's all I got. I'm going to start working again. We're going to test fit this guy for a little time lapse to make sure that I actually did all the geometry right and it actually goes together and we don't spend 3 hours staining it for nothing. Go!
A whole lot denser than the other one did.
Yes, it does.
It's very beige.
It is very beige.
With lights on it, it's just sort of like uniform beige. You can't even really see the grain.
So the geometry all worked. Just using 1/2-inch ply, did the basic AC sanded grade. So there are some bends in it. That's a little off right there. That's just a bend in the plywood. My hope is that once this is flat packed and kind of crushed together, it'll all relax and become flat again. Hence the flat pack. With flat. Geometry worked, so now we're going to figure out what we're going to do to make it not beige. So last night, Mark had the insight that the box design, as I was going to do, was going to be really heavy. I had planned on basically taking all of these offcut pieces from which the other sections of the tree came from and using those as kind of frames to hold all the pieces nice and orderly in a big old box. But that was going to add, with all of this in here, a whole lot of weight. Quick back of the envelope math, the whole thing was going to weigh like 120 to 150 pounds. And that's just too damn much to be, hauling up to your attic and then back down even just once a year. So we have a different version, and right now we're probably cut to me making it on the CAD for what it's going to look like. And yeah, so it's going to be a triangle that all the pieces are going to fit into much more effectively. I think we're going to have to strap the trunk pieces to the outside because they're not really triangles and don't fit nicely in that geometry. And yeah, so we're going to build that now. Here we have the box with the trunk pieces as they are going to be held to the front, something like this, and we're going to rig up a couple of clips, or brackets rather, that are going to be something like that, one on the bottom, and then one on each side there, so that'll hold your trunk pieces on. You can slide them up
and get rid of them, or assemble them. And then the whole thing opens up on a piano hinge that will be here. We'll have some latches right here, some handles here, and that'll be it.
I'm staining the needles right now. Actually, going to be staining the trunk brown and the rest of the tree green. What I'm using is an alcohol-based wiping stain. Normally, what we use this stuff for is to make toner. So what we would do is we'd mix some of this stuff as pigment with a clear coat and spray that over a stained piece or even an unstained piece. One of the things that people don't realize, when they buy stain from the DIY store and they wipe it on and then they clear coat it and it doesn't look as good as professionally made furniture, is that they don't do it that way. What they do is they put a base layer of stain on and it's lighter than what they want it to come out to be, and then they put a colored clear coat on top of that. And it gives it a depth and a richness that you can't get otherwise. And it takes a little bit of specialized spraying gear and stuff like that, but this stuff looks fantastic when you do it that way. So normally we use this stuff as pigment supply to make that clear coat. In this case, we're not going to add clear coat because we can't add dimension. The pieces won't fit together, or they would scrape together and then it would leave white foxy marks and stuff like that on it. We don't want that to happen. So I'm just putting pigment directly into this stuff, and it's so I'm just making green plywood, which is what it looks like. So green for this stuff, brown for the other, and it's thinned with alcohol. Like I said, it's denatured alcohol, so your hands freeze when it's cold. My hands were literally red. I just held them by the heater for a second there because it was like cold. Anyway, so I'm not going to demonstrate this. It's staining. I'm wiping it with a rag and a brush and stuff like that. But that's what we're using.
And here it is. This is the final tree in its nice, pretty triangular tree-shaped box. We even made some stencils up for it to make it more festive and stuff. If we cut to the other angle, you can see the whimsical stuff I stenciled on the side because, yeah, whimsy.
Hey, there's the other angle. There it is.
Is it?
Yeah.
We don't know that.
Well, hopefully the editing will take care of that.
Okay. So now we are going to take it apart and assemble it and see how long it takes. Shouldn't take too long. Stay tuned. All right, you should start the clock about now. Oh yeah, those first. I designed this. I should know this. So bam, there's the tree. Does not come with a dog. They cost extra.
Dog is plenty extra.
Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. If you are interested in making one of these for yourself, I am going to put a PDF on a Google Drive with a link somewhere in the comments maybe, so you can get all the vectors and lines and math on this. And if you have access to a CNC machine, make your own or scale it down to a half size or scale up to a big one, or just get wacky with it.
Cut it out of paper.
Cut it out, sure. So please like and subscribe down, I think it's down there somewhere.
Yeah, comments or questions, please. Throw comments, throw questions. Do it.
Happy Holidays.